Good evening, Vice Chancellor Griffith, members of the university, my very good friend, Dr. Mohammed. I'd like to congratulate you on organizing this fantastic event, Turkeyen Tain Talks. When Dr. Mohammed called me, I'm not a typical person that would be seen on a panel. It's almost every time she asks me for something, I'm automatically compliant because I know the type of individual that she is. And I must say here publicly today, I'm one of your, even though you don't hear from me often unless we've got a network problem, I am one of your supporters. I think we met in 2016, and she is an absolutely wonderful, forward-thinking person that really encourages me and motivates me. So, moving forward, my name is Vishok. I'm the Managing Director of eNetworks. I have been asked to present a case study of a success from a case study of success from a homegrown business, which eNetworks is. To give you a little bit about eNetworks, eNetworks is a cable TV provider and it's an internet service provider. We started in 2003 and we're about 15 years old. We started with 2 employees and today we have 135 people and 165 including contractors. We've got a significant market share in the cable TV business, which was our main focus since 2007, but our real love is on the network side and the internet side of it. To give you a basic background on what I wanted to do today just was to give some very stories of key points in our growth that would hopefully resonate with the audience and young entrepreneurs. But in 2003, when we wanted to get the business going, we were so excited with creating something that was faster than dial-up. We didn't realize all what it took going into a business, you know? So we made a quick list of equipment and we decided we'd get a business plan put together. We couldn't go wrong. It was something that everyone wanted. It was faster than what was available. And it was here and we would have already been able to demonstrate that it works. So I went to 4 banks and my business plan was good, you know, like good, thick, written pictures, everything. I thought it was pretty good. And at the 3rd bank, I realized one rule, and that's 15 years ago. I see the next speaker is going to talk about entrepreneur and financing, but 15 years ago, there was one rule for entrepreneurs that needed money. You had to have money to borrow money. You know, either in the form of cash security or collateral or guarantors. And that was the reality of my situation. And in 2003, I was looking for $5 million. So I decided to visit Citizens Bank to drop a letter in the proposal. And while I went up to the secretary, Mr. Alan Paris, who was the CEO then, his door was open and he saw me. And the secretary, I don't know if she had stepped out or what, so it was him and I was dropping this package. And he said, how can I help you? So I said, I got a proposal. He said, come in. So he had a look at it. And he said, okay, come back tomorrow at 1 o'clock. And this was Citizens Bank. At 12:30, I was sitting outside in the car waiting to make sure. He was an older gentleman and he definitely came over as very disciplined and he would I definitely would have been gotten some marks for being on time. So I went in and he said to me, I read everything last night and it looks pretty good. Can you do this? And I said, yes. So he said, how much exactly are you looking to borrow? So I said, 5 million. He said, but the cost of the project is 5 million. So I thought that was pretty straightforward. He said, so you want the bank to take all the risk? So I said, at this stage, yes. So he said, no, you need to at least put some equity in it because we've got to share the risk. So how much equity can you put? None, you know. So he said, do this, you know. 20% of the equity, you get me a guarantor. And come back and it's done. So I did. I had I'm very into motor racing. I had met a good friend, who's a good friend today, Ivelaw, and he said right to it, first word, you know. He said, I didn't know you were looking for funds. I guaranteed the whole thing, and I was thinking too late, you know. And so that basically was the start, and we got the funds, and we started doing the business, and there was great demand. And what we realized was that it wasn't about just the product. It was so many things around the product. How fast you deliver it, how efficient you deliver it, can you support it, can you deal with the customer service, can you deal with simple things like, for instance, in your projection, you would have had, a lot of times you have everything almost near perfect because you're so enthusiastic and excited about doing the business. And I'm speaking specific to entrepreneurs and people who have their ideas and are pushing, and they're basically pushing it as hard as they can, and they want to see everything in a perfect way, even though that may be less than real. So we started to realize, you need to manage your cash flow. You can't go back to Mr. Paris. You got to get your receivables in. You got to sell your equipment. You got to take that money and you got to reinvest. And you got to get new stock in. So the whole cycle and circle of the business, and you want to prove yourself. So the rate of growth is important, and I want to emphasize that today to every entrepreneur. A lot of times people talk about globalization. For the last decade, globalization has come and gone. We've actually seen where economies are being absorbed into single companies when you look at on the tech side of things, of how strong things are. And so even if you've got a good product and you're doing good, you need to ensure the rate at which your company is growing is correct, because you don't want to do all the groundwork, get to start, and then there's competition in the market, prices drop. Someone else comes in and takes your share that you have developed and the brand that you've developed. So one of the things I wanted to say is in 2005, I would have exhausted my decency and my niceness with Mr. Paris, and I had to get a partner. So I opted to get a local investor, and there was no turning back after that. But what I had and what I was able to show to the investor was a solid proof of concept of a working business and a working model. And from there, we went forward. And so 2003, and in 2007, Mr. Paris resigned. Or he retired, from Citizens Bank, and in 2009 I made him a director at eNetworks, and he would come for six weeks in a year. He lives in Florida, and we started for the first time. So that's 6 years later. We started talking about corporate governance in an institution. We were now moving from a startup to an institution with a corporate identity. And he said to me, "What's your most important asset?" I said, "Mr. Paris, that's easy. It's the network." He said, "I beg to differ. I think it's your human capital. It's the people that make the business." And that was a lesson that I took to heart, because since then, people are very funny. If you see us typing something, I'm less tech now, but I was very technical in the early side. And when you see the tech guy, he definitely don't want you to know what he's doing, because he thinks that's his intellectual property, that's his strength. And what happens in businesses like ours, you end up to put pressure on very few guys, and then the rate at which you grow slows down. So now we know, treat people good, empower them, educate them, they will stay with you if you're a good company. So we don't hesitate. If they travel, if there's training, whatever it is, we give you the full exposure. If you leave, we shake your hand and we say, go on, but do better than you've done here, come back and visit anytime. And that's been our model since then. I want to talk about efficiency of money, which is something that somebody told me a long time ago. I think this would have been 2002. Business is cash flow. And I could not have understood that statement. And they said business is cash flow, because cash flow is going to make sure that you can pay your bills, that you can order, that you can keep. So the money, the balance of receivables and payables and everything else, it is your cash flow. And I tend to, in the Money Matters conversation, I want to bring up something that I pretty much call it the efficiency of money. We look at simple things, like for instance, in the banking sector, I know there are $1 billion of approved funds for lending, but due to simple bureaucracies, I need to wrap up. Yeah, due to simple bureaucracies, the rate at which they can draw them down, it could be 6 weeks for mortgages, it could be more documentation and so on. But then if we look at if that money came into the system faster, on a calendar year, it would affect our GDP. And it's the same I would say public and private accounting are almost inverse. In the public sector, we should be looking to spend as fast as possible, while in the private sector, we tend to be a little more conservative and very careful. So let me start wrapping up. I think I'm going to have to skip a few points here. But I think definitely businesses and entrepreneurs, you need to look from day one. You need to be careful. You need to be efficient. You need to be saving. You need to be, well, when I say saving, I don't mean save for the investments, guys. I mean saving on the cost of goods. So, you know, you need to ensure that your product is priced competitively so that you can withstand. You should always have a buffer. Comes back to the same one thing I always say. The spreadsheet is a killer. So I've got 3 finance guys and they like to put everything in the spreadsheet and they say, you know, this don't look good, that don't look good. And I said, you know, if we could answer all the questions with the spreadsheet, then there'd be no entrepreneur, no risk or anything, everything would be good. So if you feel you've got a business idea and you're passionate about it, sometimes it's in your head and you can't even communicate it to sell it, which you know exactly what it is. But somebody says, write me a proposal. You can't even start the first paragraph. If you've got a book in your head, you know? So I always say, don't worry with the spreadsheet. Listen to the experts, but listen to yourself. Because it's very easy for somebody to say, oh, this doesn't make sense, or that doesn't make sense, or the numbers doesn't add up. But I've had passionate ideas that the real successful idea was the 3rd revision that came for the first one that failed. So see this through to your end, even if it's for your own mental satisfaction that you can say, you know, I saw this through and I'm comfortable than to wake up 5 years later and see somebody had the same idea and they're making millions. But definitely it doesn't have to be all black and white and all documented and all risk calculated on day one. If that was the way things were, then everybody would be an entrepreneur and a business owner and be successful. The last thing that I want to leave, and it's very specific to the context of Guyana, but it extends globally. Honesty and integrity. Be true to your word. Be honest. It always catches up with you, and you're always repaid fit. If you're an honorable person and you give your word, you give your price, even if you've given a price and the price has changed, and you can manage to take the loss just to be that this is what I said, this is what I'm going to deliver, that's going to take you further than anything else, because people automatically trust you and your customers will have faith in you, and they wouldn't, even when the competitor comes, they're going to say, you know what, at least the good ones, you know, you've been good to us, we've got a good relationship, we're going to give you some more time to get yourself in order. So don't try to be the fast talker guy, don't try to sell what you don't have. Just lay it out as it is, and I think that's going to take you a far way. I've had a few more points, but I think I'll wrap it up here. So I just want to, again, thank everyone, and, you know, this is like everybody's got a little fix, you know, so like in the world of entrepreneur, it's an adrenaline rush by itself. So the challenges, you want to have the challenges. That's how you develop the mental capacity to face the challenges, and that's how you develop your own unique skill set. And a lot of it you can't be taught, but with experience, you gain unique things and insights, and you should never hesitate to share, because it's an exchanging environment. You can say something today, you know, and someone says, and boom, tomorrow your problem is solved that you were thinking about before. So on that note, again, I'd just like to say key things: honesty and integrity. And don't put all your eggs in the spreadsheet. Take care.